Oh, what's up, everybody? This is the Wrestle Wire. We got a special show for y'all tonight. As you noticed, I am not joined by my co-host this evening. He is actually feeling a little under the weather. So David Escada will not be in this evening. But we're doing a preview show for Pro Wrestling Union Parade of Champions. It's happening this Saturday in Lexington, South Carolina. You know, a lot of people build a lot of shows. There's always shows running. When we go through these shows here tonight, I want you to look very carefully at the talent that is on each match throughout this entire card. It is uncanny. It's arguably one of the biggest shows booked I've seen in quite a while. So, speaking of one of the largest shows booked, let's go ahead and bring on the owner of Pro Wrestling Union, Mr. Cole McAbee. Welcome to the show, man.
Hey, how you doing tonight, Ron?
Oh, it's another day in parodies.
And Parodies. I
Yeah.
actually know a Parodies. Steve Parodies is his name. He used to go by the name of Dr. Myers, one of the best workers in the Carolinas from like the early 2000s.
Well, I say parody because it's just a joke.
Uh, I mean, I understand. I've been having a rough week myself. You know about that.
Yep.
But I mean, apparently, I've been living the sweet life for the last week, and that's all everybody could ever see was like, he's up in a big fancy hotel eating steaks and drinking old fashions and drinking mochaccino coffees all day. It's hard work.
Yeah, you know, you know, some people just have that luxury where they fall in instead of landing in shit, they land in, pillows.
Yeah,
So,
duck
seems to
down.
be what happened to
So
you.
yeah, but no, we had a few things to happen at the house that me and the family we had to vacate, and we are blessed enough that we had a place that we could go while we get everything sorted out. The kids have been thinking it's been one big adventure, and me and the wife, we're just ready to get back to the house. And hopefully, after this evening, we'll be able to do that and get back to our normal day to day life because, you know, it's nice, but I start to realize that I've become more of a homebody the older that I get. And there's no place like your own house to settle down and relax and everything.
Well, especially I've gotten accustomed to it. There's nothing quite like your own bed.
Yes, I absolutely love my bed, and I love
Right.
the person that I share that bed with too.
Well, that can potentially make a difference as well. Let's see here. We've got Cliff in here. What's up happening, Cliff?
How
He
you
said
doing,
hey
Cliff?
to everybody. And Ghazi said, "Hey Cole." And what's up, Ghazi? Had a fun
I,
time. Had a fun time working with Ghazi over the weekend.
yeah, I heard that they had this crazy show over in Asheville, and and the responses that I heard from that show from most people, including yourself, is three simple little letters: FUN, fun. So
It was definitely fun. It was definitely different. I stepped way out of my comfort zone on that show, and I'll talk more about that on Thursday night, including I'll tell everybody all the jokes. Um,
okay.
but it it was just there was a lot to it, man. There was a lot to it, so I didn't know what to make of everything, but everybody was really welcoming, and it was just very cool to have those interactions and to build something different with everyone like a unit. So it was cool. It was really very cool.
That's awesome.
Uh, Scott says hardest working promoter in the business, brings a lot of class to the wrestling wire. Thanks, man. I need some class on here. Um, I
I
normally
don't know
teach
about that
class.
hardest.
I normally teach class in here, but that's yet again that's for another day.
I don't
Uh,
know if I'm the hardest working. I can name several people that I would consider some of the hardest working promoters out there, and would definitely put them above me, above anybody else. To be honest with you.
right. Tommy Scott chimed in. He wanted to know what made you want to start Pro Wrestling Union and drove you to build it.
Okay, so um, back in 2019, I had, well, actually 2018, I had come back to wrestling after a brief hiatus. Basically, just I was injured, I was tired, I was starting a family and all that other stuff. So I really didn't have time for the wrestling anymore. But then afterwards, I started missing it, and, kind of got that itch going on. So I was like, I got to do something to get back involved. And of course, my idiot brain kicks in and says, why don't you wrestle again? And um, you can tell that the injuries picked up. Some people enjoyed having me on their shows. There were some people that were kind enough to me to gently say, "Hey, man, um, you're you're just you're just kind of a shell of your former self, and we understand that. It's because you got all the problems with your knees, your back, neck, and all that other stuff." So you know, um, one of my friends actually said, like, we were sitting there talking about stuff, and I was just kind of piecing some things together. And he was like, you know what? Your body may not be like it used to be, but he's like, your mind is as sharp as ever. And he's like, why don't you do promoting and do your own shows? And, I had experience with promoting before with Trans South Wrestling in its first year. Derek Vanderford, myself, Manny Fernandez, Thomas Simpson, if that's okay to say his name on the show. But, all of us were involved in Trans South Wrestling. And after the first show, uh, there were some problems that came up that could have stopped the next show from happening. And I stepped up and I said, I always wanted to try my hand in it. And Derek trusted me with it. Thomas trusted me with it. Dion Johnson, who was part of it, he was a big supporter and said, just give him a chance. So that first year of Trans South Wrestling, we put on some great shows, had one of the biggest shows at the fairgrounds in Union, where we basically stopped the Union County Fair. Every single person stopped riding rides to watch wrestling. And we had guys like Rhett Titus and Grizzly Redwood, who were Ring of Honor stars at the time. Joey Janela, before anybody knew who a Joey Janela was on that show. Jason Blackman, who was the first Trans South heavyweight champion. Dion Johnson, and several others. We also had Ivan Koloff as a special guest. So that first year, I got my feet wet, so I still had that little thing like, well, maybe let me see what I can do with this again. And that's kind of what happened with Pro Wrestling Union. I had an idea of how I wanted things to be done, and because I've learned a lot of great things from a lot of great minds, but I've also learned a lot of things what you shouldn't be doing. So basically, all the education that I had gathered in at that time, say about 17, 18 years of being part of the business, I just applied what I considered the good lessons and just swept away everything negative about it. And I think in the 4 or 5 years that I've done Pro Wrestling Union, it's worked for the most part, or at least I'm confident of that anyway.
Right. Uh, there's there's a lot of history and legacy between Trans South and then Trans South is currently trying to run again. They ran one show
Yes.
earlier this year and had a good time and pretty successful from what I understand. Uh, and then look at the legacy that Pro Wrestling Union has had in involvement with other companies, involvement with other shows. There's just been a lot of other things. It's been a lot of Pro Wrestling Union touching things.
Right.
So that leads me to say that whether or not you accept it or whether or not you wanted to hear it, the brain that you use to make Pro Wrestling Union has influenced others. And the brand is so recognizable that it was able to be pulled on by others and utilized by others for their gain as well.
And and sometimes we ran into situations like last year. We wanted to do a banner, and here's the crazy thing: even though we did not make that work, um, here's the funny thing: because a lot of people like to say that promoters can't work with each other, promoters are backstabbing and all this other stuff. Not a single person that was involved with the banner. We still talk. We still help each other out when we can.
Right.
So It's just that the direction that I was wanting to go in may not have coincide with others' direction, and other people outside didn't want to kind of go with certain directions. So I was like, well, if this is going to be the headache, I'd rather not have the headache. Everybody walked away with no hurt feelings, and everybody was still able to do the things that we technically promised. Um, like, for example, with the American Wrestling League, um, they wanted to run in union. When we decided not to go through with the banner, I never stepped in the way of Jimmy Ward wanting to run in union, and he's ran in union and will be running in union again very soon.
Yep, September and October, as a matter of fact. Uh,
Exactly.
let's see. We're gonna catch up on some comments real quick, and then we'll get into the matches. Saw the Thomas clip of the stripper falling, so you really might want to analyze that because I'm fairly confident that was planned to happen that way. I don't know. I'd have to ask her directly, and I don't have a way
Okay.
to contact her. Y'all don't realize how much it warms my heart every time I hear y'all go on about how much you enjoyed the show, dude. It was a riot. Absolutely a great time. Uh, Max Carnage chiming in. What's up, Max?
So,
Uh, Cliff worked a few Trans South wrestling shows back in the day. Okay, I
yes, he
did
did.
not know that. That's awesome. The awesome twosome is watching, and Cole Mac, he's gonna smack you right in the face on September 7th.
Yeah, 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 yeah. I'd like to see him try.
Interesting. Pro wrestling has some great matches over all promotions in the Carolinas. XWW is how I found out about this because Whiskey Business and Drew Hood defending their titles. Right.
Mm.
Um, and Kylan Disney chiming in. What's up, Kylan? How you doing?
What's up, Kyler?
But yeah, man, you have got one hell of a card here, dude. And so look at the throwback poster. So this is what a classic wrestling flyer looked like, man, and it looks
Yeah.
great.
And,
Uh,
and, you know, and that's not even the main poster. I honestly put that together just out of, I had some time on my hands, and I honestly love the old classic look posters anyway. That is just what speaks to me. Um, a lot of that style I've done for Heroes to Legends wrestling posters in the past, just because that's what Chad Jones likes as well. And I was like, well, with what I got here, and if you kind of look at some of the people that you have, even though these are all modern day wrestlers, uh, a lot of these guys have like a small sense of a throwback. Like you look at AJ Kazana, you can't tell me that you can't look at somebody like him. You don't see like a dirty Dutch Mantel or like even somewhat of a Stan Hansen type person.
oh yeah.
You know, John Schuyler. He may not be the tallest man in the ring and all this other stuff. But he's a tenacious bulldog. Like a Tom Billington or something like that.
I
Or
mean,
like
can we enclose it to just wrestling? And I say Benoit is who he reminds me of in the ring.
I mean, if you want to go that route, I mean that is fine. But like John's such a student of the game. Like everything from old school classic to what you see as the modern day wrestling. He gets it. He understands it, and he knows how to adapt to all of it. And that's what
Right.
makes him such a great person to watch in the ring. And you got guys like Drew Hood, who is uh, hands down one of the hardest working people today. Definitely built his brand up to a place where you're going to be seeing a lot of this guy, not just here in the southeast. You're going to be seeing him all over the place, and I can say the same thing for Landon Hell as well, and everybody else that's on this card that we're going to talk about is
Right.
tremendous.
Well, one cool thing that I at least I think is cool is you're even bringing in a ref from the NWA
Yes,
to be here. Jared Fritz.
Ref Fit. Me and Jared have actually become buddies since we first started hanging out and all this other stuff. We met over at Bubba Gamut Promotions show in Clover back in February, which was actually on my birthday when I turned 40. and me and him just hit it off so well. And he's been very supportive of me, and he's been doing a lot of great stuff too. He had a busy weekend not too long ago. He was in Washington, then he had to go to Philadelphia for NWA 76. He was just all over the place,
Right.
and he's got more stuff coming up too. It's amazing what all he's got lined up.
I follow his TikTok actually, and his daily inspirational stuff, man, freaking hits. I love it.
Yes,
So I'm a big
tremendous guy.
I'm a big supporter of his motivational stuff, especially, you know, with the wars going on here. Uh really helpful. So
Yeah,
uh
yeah, yeah. But we're going to talk about the matches, right?
oh yeah, we're getting ready to talk about the matches. Luke Childers chimed in. What's up, Luke? Jeannie said she is sad she's missing the show. Well, why are you missing it? You should come down to Lexington.
You know what?
Uh,
You know what? Yeah, if you if you're not able to see it, um, hey, that you're going to miss out. Um, maybe we'll get the videos up, maybe we won't. I make no promises.
right. First time seeing AJ Kazan since the Crockett Cup, and I can't wait for him versus Heath. That's going to be a fun match. Um, Jared's a good ref. Worked with him a couple times. Yeah, Chris.
Chris
Let's see
Thunder
here.
Anderson is the
Oh, it's
man.
too far. Jenny says it's too far. Okay.
Oh
Uh,
man.
my birthday is Friday. Well,
Oh
this is
man.
Saturday.
Happy birthday.
Yep, definitely happy birthday to Cliff. Let's see here, man. This one, Dion Johnson with Derek Vanderford in his corner going up against Chris Vallow.
Oh yeah. Let's talk about that for a second because I'm gonna peel back the curtain just a little bit on Mr. Dion Johnson and Derek Vanderford. So Dion, of course, has been with us since the very beginning, and there's no denying that. I don't think he's missed a single show. He may not have worked one of the shows, but he's never missed a single one. Not a single one. And I can say the same thing with Derek. He may not have been on all the shows, but he's been there. Now, we wanted to make sure to get Dion on the card, and we wanted to get a good match and everything like that. And this is before they decided to go into business for themselves. The whole BOB thing that they got going
Yes.
on, right? All right, which I still think is funny because you guys Dion, you got Brino, and then you got the whitest man in the room, Derek Vanderford. You
Yeah,
take the little cap off his head, looks like a light bulb that's going off.
I really don't believe that a tanning bed with all the oils in the world would help him.
He reminds me of Teddy Long if he went albino, you know.
That's it. That's it.
So anyway, enough picking on Derek. So we approached Dion with a match, and he's like, I'm not really feeling that one. Okay, so we discussed Brito Royce, and then all of a sudden we start finding out him and Brino are in cahoots with each other. So no, they don't want to fight each other. Okay, whatever. So then I pick a guy from New York. You may have heard of him. I won't mention his name, but basically Dion's like, no, I ain't gonna wrestle him. I ain't gonna, whatever. And then I mentioned a Wall Street Fat Cat, and Dion turned his nose up at that one too. So
Wow.
I'm like at this point where I'm like, I got to do something. And Chris Vallow, who had taken a break from wrestling for a little while because he had just had his second child, uh, they so he was not even really factored into the equation until I started noticing that he was coming back. And then, of course, I saw him at WrestleForce. And I was like, you know what? I would really love to get Valor back on the show. And of course, I was like, you know what? I'm just not going to even ask Dion. It's going to be Chris Vallo versus Dion Johnson.
Oh, that's going to be good. I'm
Yeah. So
I'm genuinely so my interest in this match is a you know a little bit higher than I thought it would be, but that's because Dion. Well, Dion just threatened you. And we
Mhm.
all know how Derek Vanderford is. So I'm not a big fan of Vanderford being at ringside, but Valo loves to fight and loves to hurt people. So I
Mhm.
think that if Vanderford sticks his nose in it, Valo's going to break it. And
Oh, no
because
doubt.
that because that blood is outside the ring, that doesn't count as having to have the match stopped in South Carolina, and and Valo is going to get his hands on Dion.
Right.
So,
But but Dion made it a little personal. He mentioned something about
oh
he's going
yeah,
to come after the Puerto Rican ass, and of course, Valo's response to that was just hilarious, and it was classic Valo, where he called the BOB the bitch owned business,
well,
which
that's not
was
inaccurate. Um,
I was like, you know what? That's technically not their name, but I'll allow it.
yep. Let's
You
see
know.
here. John Schuyler, Chase Emery, winner receives a PW United title match.
Yes, and the wonderful thing about this match too is that John and Chase have such a long history together. They have been friends. They have been enemies. They have wrestled each other at various promotions, so they know each other very well. In fact, they were part of that three man dance last year's Parade of Champions, which also included Land in Hell.
Right.
So there's some unresolved issues between the two. So, you know, if you follow both of these people and kind of know what their interaction is with one another, you know that it's a little bit more than just, oh, there's a championship opportunity on the line. There's a lot more at stake in that for them because there's some personal issues there. And as a wise man has said, personal issues creates cash.
Yes. Yes. Most definitely. I'm excited to see these two get one on one. In the triple threat, there was a lot in the air on that
Yeah.
because you had Skylar and Emery and Hale. These two, I know they've wrestled each other before. I think WrestleForce recently has them set up for it, or recently had them set up for it. I don't know if that show happened or not with the weather. Uh,
Well, yeah. Now, if weather permitting, and hopefully it does, because I do enjoy WrestleForce, just like I enjoy many of the different promotions that we have here in the Southeast. Uh, Definitely support a lot of them by attending them myself. Um, the next thing that they have for WrestleForce, I believe they got like Team Chase versus Team Skyler. Chase Emery has already announced one of his team members, and that's Jamal the Titan. So he went for a big monster right away.
oh,
So yeah,
definitely.
I'm interested to see what John's pick's going to be. But yeah, like I said, they got some personal issues, which I know that's going to just make the match just more intense, more interesting. And they're two of the best wrestlers. I would say definitely top 10 from the Carolinas,
Oh
no
yeah,
doubt.
they're up there. They are definitely up there.
Yeah.
Now, this matchup has a slight modification from the picture, uh, but that is the junior
Yes.
heavyweight championship match is a triple threat. Luca Daniels has been injured. His ACL, MCL has been torn. He's already in rehab, repairing it. Surgery was a complete success. And the dude is working out. He's posting videos. If you haven't followed him, check him out on social media. You'll see everything. It's going to be Zuka King, Caleb Conley, and Christopher Prince. Christopher Prince is your incumbent going into this.
Yep.
Man, with everything I've seen Christopher Prince do in the last two, 2.5, 3 years, I got a hard time going against him. I've seen him everywhere. I've seen him doing everything. I I would venture to say that if I had to name names of people I'm around the most, Chris Prince is one of them. Thomas Extreme is another.
Mhm.
I mean, hell, even Whiskey Business. It's like
Yeah,
those are people I'm around the most running, and you know me, I'm freaking everywhere. So,
yeah, and Chris, he's another one of these people like a Drew Hood who has built his brand up, and it just keeps getting bigger and bigger and bigger. Not just as a singles competitor, but he also has the tag team with Nathan Cross, uh, Bad Magic,
mhm.
and they just recently started getting on to the West Coast as well. So he puts in the work. He is definitely one of the most phenomenal people you're going to be able to watch in the ring. But you also have to factor in into this is that he's in there with two very seasoned veterans,
Oh,
uh,
definitely.
Caleb Conley. Uh, dear Lord, man, what can I not say about this guy? I mean, like if you were to build a mold for a professional wrestler in regards to not only talent but the look, Caleb Conley.
Okay, that's fair enough.
I would say that that would be like one of the molds right there. And Zuka King, um, and I probably shouldn't even admit this. Uh, I'm a low key Zuka King fan. I
Same,
love. I
same.
I just I just absolutely love his just no BS demeanor. The way he gets in there, the way he handles guys, his ferociousness is just chef's kiss.
Oh, his veracity is second to none in my opinion. I saw him absolutely manhandle Luke Fury a couple of months ago, and I felt so bad for Luke because of the beating he took.
I can understand. I can understand.
But it's one of those things where Zuka King is the type of wrestler I like to watch. He's gonna beat your face in. He's gonna make you pay for everything.
Yeah.
You know, if he grabs a hold of you, he's gonna choke you. He's gonna hurt your joints. He's gonna manipulate your body however he wants to. And if you're dumb enough to try to spar with him, he's gonna put you on your ass.
Mm-mm. No, that's one thing I highly advise against. Never get in a fist fight with somebody like Zuka. You're not going to come out on top.
100%. This match is another huge one for actually both of
Yes.
these teams. You have got Whiskey Business and the four-time NWA Tag Team Champions, the Heat Seekers.
Yes. And two-time PWU Tag Team Champions on top of that. Plus, they got a title accolade that's probably 2 miles long anyway. But this
Right.
was a match that Braden Marshall and Johnny Ryder asked for. I mean, like immediately, as soon as they won the tag team championship, Braden hands me his flask and says, "Have a drink with us. I want to have a talk with you." I go, "Okay." So we're sitting there, and next thing you know, he's like, "I'm sure that you got a lot of tag teams lined up for us in regards to the title defense." He says, "Like, and we're more than willing to oblige." He said, "But there's one team that we gotta have." And I said, "Oh yeah, what's that?" And he immediately said, "Sigmund and Elliot Russell," for no other reason but because that they are regarded as one of the best tag teams in the world today, and they just want to prove their worth. Nothing else.
Right.
It's not a personal thing. It's like they want to see where they measure on the stick when it comes to them. So knowing the kind of team that those two guys are going against one of the top tag teams in the world, um, I think it's just going to be a tremendous tag team matchup.
I I'm genuinely looking forward to it as well. I've seen both of these teams several times. Like I said earlier, I've seen Whiskey Business more than I've seen most people in the last couple of years. Um,
Yes.
and this has all the makings of a tag team classic. So I'm very
Absolutely.
invested in that. The United Heavyweight Championship is on the line as Landon Hale challenges Drew Hood.
Yes,
Wow.
and yesterday, Drew Hood celebrated a full year as the United Heavyweight Champion. He made it to 365.
Mm,
Um, and he knows that there is a lot at stake for this championship match. He feels he still feels a little jaded over what happened last year with Landon coming out and, as he says, stole his spotlight, stole his moment away from him.
right.
Now of course Landon has a different viewpoint on all this, and that he just went out there just to congratulate him. And I was right there at ringside. I heard exactly what Landon Hale said, and he said congratulations to him, said he was proud of him, but he did let him know. He said, hold on to that championship because when I'm ready for it, I'm going to come after it. So Drew knew that it was bound to happen at some point. But with everything that Drew has been dealing with over the last year, since last year's Parade of Champions, I don't know. Maybe I don't know if he just didn't have it in the back of his mind or whatnot. I honestly don't know because he got caught off guard just as much as I was when Landon popped up right here on the Wrestling Wire when we first started talking about this show.
Right.
So
We were well, I mean, look at the laundry list of names that Drew has defended that title against. You're talking Sean Legacy. That matchup was fantastic.
yes,
Uh, and I know I'm drawing a hell of a blank right now for the one in North Carolina with him
um,
that I was at.
oh, you're talking about. Wait a minute. Are we talking about Angels? Because remember, Manny
Yes.
Mac
Yes.
had that over at XWW for his big show that he
Right.
had over there.
Yes. That matchup was fantastic. I am a big fan of Angels. Um and it's funny that his name seems to be getting brought up more and more and more and more and more in this region right now. And I'm like, I knew this a year ago. I've been telling people for a year to call this guy. And now all of a
Oh,
sudden you're starting to see him pop up.
oh yeah, I think I know who the other person was because he's one of the big indie guys like on the Eastern Seaboard, Robert Martyr.
Yes,
He,
that was it.
and they had a classic, um, just outstanding. So yeah, Drew has had a stellar year for Pro Wrestling Union, but he's had a stellar year just all year round. I mean, like he was, uh, even though he didn't have the outcome that he wanted for Action Pack Wrestling not too long ago, he was one of their longer reigning champions.
Right.
He defended that belt against everybody there for APW in Chester. On top of that, he's been over at Pay Your Dues Wrestling, winning championships there. NWA, JCP,
Yep. Joe
winning
Kazana.
championships there. Viral Pro Wrestling, the Outbreak Championship. So like I said, he's one of those guys that built his brand. It is so much money right now that the people that slept on him are kicking themselves in the ass right
Oh,
now and foaming
100%.
at and some of them are foaming at their mouth to get them to come. And it's up to him whether he wants to do that or not.
Open your checkbook, but don't write a check. Take the cash out and give it to him.
Mhm.
Smart people don't take checks.
I
Smart
had a
people don't
comment,
take
but
checks.
I had a comment, but I'm keeping it in. I'm keeping it in. I'm keeping it
There you go.
in.
Yes, smart people don't take checks. We'll leave it at that. We take cash or well, I take payment in cash or blood. I prefer cash. Uh, it's easier to move. Blood I have to put in my cooler, and then if I get pulled over, I have to explain why I have blood in my bag. It's just it's a mess. Uh, and your main event for the evening. Heath Slater, AJ Kazana. This has all the makings of a main event.
Yes. And this one, I will say, is definitely one that is brought to us by our good friend Bubba Amick at Bubba Amick Promotions. This was something that he really wanted. And of course, when Bubba, which by the way, we are going to give a shout out to Bubba Amick, and of course to our sponsors. We had Wrestling Road Stories, Danny Chatton. He was one of the first guys to contact us. Airs Outboard, and of course the Wrestling Wire.
Yep, appreciate that
But
one.
yeah, but no, me and Bubba, we had spoken quite a few times, and then of course I went to his show in February of this year, and we just got along so well, and we just kind of stayed in contact, and we said that we wanted to work with each other, and he came to me and he was like, "Hey man, let's do something together," and here we are. And when we were discussing matches, he pretty much was like, "Hey man, I'm whatever you want to do is cool with me." He's like, "But I just got this one match in mind, and this is the one that he presented to me." And I was like, "Ooh, that's good."
Right?
so,
Oh, definitely.
so
Uh,
full credit to Bubba on that one.
I have worked around Heath Slater a lot in the last couple of months, and the dude is fantastic inside and outside of the ring. I've seen Kazana 2 or 3 times in the last year or so. Originally met him at a convention in Tennessee that we were
Yeah,
the Wrestling Wire was a part of, and dude, he took over the podcast live there. Like he took
yeah,
the microphone and just he was like, "Nope, camera's on me, guys. I'm good." And for like an hour, he just had a blast. So just
yeah.
total entertainment. The guy's electric.
Well, and here's the other thing, and this is the reason why I appeal to me so much is that there's been two occasions that we have tried to get AJ Kazana on a pro wrestling union show. While he was still known as the Legacy, um, he hadn't quite become who he is now, the Brood of Bullhead Ranch. Um, he was still fresh face, still trying to make a name for himself over there in East Tennessee. He had reached out, just try to get outside of his comfort zone and stuff like that. And something happened to where he was not going to be available for that date. And then we tried to bring him over to Blacksburg, South Carolina. Uh, and of course, this is after he had signed on to be with the NWA. And I think he and his former partner had just lost the U.S. Tag Team Championships. Um, but then they were going to have a tour in Australia, and that is what got in the way of him not being able to come out for that show that we had in Blacksburg for Coach Boo Boo, who really
Right.
wanted to bring his men to his school. Um, so we had those two occasions that we were trying to get AJ in. So when this was presented to me by Bubba, of course, I was like, I've been really wanting to work with AJ. So this is for me, it's a good opportunity to. So I'm really looking forward to that. And then of course Heath Slater, Heath Miller, or Heath, whatever you want to call him, or if you want to call him Sebastian Slater from back in his FCW days. Um, dude is, I mean, not trying to be cliche, but he's a rock star, man. He's like everybody loves him. When he's in the ring, he is just fire. Got a lot of passion behind him and everything like that, and everything that he does. Um, I think that concept that Heath is with somebody like AJ is just like it's like mixing two chemical compounds that is going to cause an explosion, and I think
Oh
it's going to
yeah.
be exciting for everybody.
Oh, it's definitely going to be an exciting matchup. Uh, let's see here. We're going to catch up on comments. Let's see here. Cole is the toughest person in the world. Uh,
Dear
Tommy's
Lord,
Tommy Scott said he'll be at Union thanks to it's thanks to the Wrestling Wire, but yes.
All right.
Dion gonna win via Derek and Dion being a cheating duo. Okay, somebody throwing up predictions. We're not doing
I,
this again.
I think he misspelled. Never mind. I'm not going to say it.
Dion Johnson win via Derek and Dion being a cheating duo. What did he misspell? He just capitalized duo.
Okay. The O is supposed to be where the U is, and the U is supposed to be where the O is, and he forgot to add C and an H and an E.
Okay.
Douche.
Oh, douche. Got it. Perfect. Perfect. I'm sitting here reading this like, what the hell? Oh, TKO is part of BOB. Okay. Uh, love Derek. That's his old tag team partner.
Mhm.
Uh, Tommy's most excited for Prince, Conley, and Zuka.
Oh
And then
yeah,
Gene, said he had a child in reference to Valo. Yes, he's got two kids. Um,
yeah, too.
which is surprise is it's crazy to think about Vala being a dad. Like it's nuts to me. You share a birthday with Braun, the Barbarian, Wendy Richter, and Low Key.
Low
Okay.
key.
You guys might not be a fan of Vanderford, but hey, he gets the crowd to hate him, and that's why he's the 2023 Carolina Manager of the Year. There you go. Let's see here. The blue
I'll
chipper
give him.
will win. Okay, somebody predicting he's gonna predict all the
Oh,
matches for
okay.
us, so that works.
Okay, so hey, you know what? I totally dig this. Tommy, keep going with those predictions, man.
Oh yeah, that
I
way I
like
don't
it.
have to do it. I don't have to do it. Valo is going to beat Dion. Chase winning.
Okay.
He said that's an old picture of Chase Emery. Yeah. Oh, bottom line, Luke Childers asked, "Are you sad this is your last show?"
Well, I have mixed feelings because I know a lot of people had a misconception about what I meant about everything, except for a few people that understood what I said was this will be my last show as a promoter. Um, so yeah, I have some mixed feelings about it. You know, there's a part of me that is sad. You know, but there's also that part of me that's going to have that little sigh of relief because being a promoter is one of the hardest jobs. In fact, I actually spoke with somebody about this not too long ago who is both a wrestler and has promoted their own shows. And his message to me was, dude, I don't know how you do it and not and somehow keep your sanity. Wrestling is hard on the body. It really is. Anybody that wants to be in professional wrestling and wants to be a wrestler, yes, you're going to put a lot of damage on your body. You're going to be hurting. You're going to be feeling some suffering physically. But a promoter, you feel it physically, mentally, emotionally, and sometimes financially. And that is a lot worse.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely, man. Definitely.
Especially, you know, and I'm not trying to knock anybody or anything like that. Some people like to use the term, and I hate this, that wrestling is not rocket science. If it is not, and you know what, they are right. It's not rocket science, okay. But when they say, oh, it's not that hard, then tell me why so many people that tried to get into professional wrestling as a promoter are not successful. You have to have a knowledge about how this works. There is a formula, and not every formula works for every person. What I do may not work in Charlotte. What people do in Charlotte may not work over here near where I live. It's about what is going to bring your audience in for your region. And there are people that they say, hey, I know these people, but yet they draw very little at the gate. And there are people that will come in behind them with 100, 150, 200, even 300 people. Shoot, didn't HWA pull in a large crowd this past weekend?
They did. Yes, they did.
Mm-hmm.
Now from what
And,
I
and, and,
understand,
and
that's in
people
Marion.
betted, and I heard people bet against them.
So did I. And one thing I will tell you about that is this: the event center in Marion advertises what events are taking place there. That's part of booking the venue.
Mhm.
So that is a brilliant business model. Could you imagine being booked and advertising for being booked? Wow.
Smart business decisions, and and I've seen a lot of people posting some things. I hate that we're getting off topic a little bit, but
It's okay.
some people have made some comments about promoting, and some people are like, promoters, stop asking the boys to share your post. And you got some people that are actually saying, no, it only takes a few moments just to share the post, or hey, if you're really excited about what you're doing, why don't you actually tell people where you're going to be? How else are they going to find you? And I even made a post the other day. I think you saw this, and I know you reacted to it. That I'm about putting my boots to the pavement, walking up to businesses with posters and flyers in my hands, talking to businesses, introducing myself, seeing if I can put the poster. And Lexington's a new market for me. I'm originally running stuff in Union, which I had no problem getting that stuff done in Union. They know who I am. I was
Right.
born and raised there. So of course I was always getting crowds, even during the times when Dion Johnson would always come up to me and go, "I don't think you're going to draw tonight. I don't think you're going to draw tonight." But then at the end of the night, he'd be like, "Cole, you sold your soul to the devil."
Yes, I've
Nobody
heard
wants.
that. I have heard him say that to you. I
Yeah,
have heard him say
and
that to you.
so there is is it rocket science? No, but you have to know what you're doing, and you got to have a passion for it in order to be a promoter. You really
Right.
do. If you don't have the passion, you don't have the sensibility of being able to take rejection and stress and all that other stuff. Uh, you're setting yourself up for failure. I always tell people, deeply consider it. And Ron, you know this because I told you the same thing. Deeply consider if you ever have that thought of being a promoter. Really think about it for a moment before you decide to jump in with both feet.
Oh, yeah, I wouldn't do this. So that's kind of the good thing about me. I don't do anything half-assed because I'm an asshole. So
Right.
I always make sure to go as far into something as I can. Um,
Never half ass two things. Whole ass one.
right. That's it. Uh, I hope WrestlePorch doesn't get canceled again. Starting to feel bad for Keller. Oh, look at this. A prediction. New junior heavyweight champion, Zuka King. All right.
And
Tommy.
just the thing, Christopher Prince put out a promo today where he pretty much said it doesn't matter if it's Zuka, it doesn't matter if it's Caleb. He plans on holding on to that title forever.
Right. Uh, let's see here. We got a boatload of comments. Uh,
Oh man.
this one's kind of Ron will take it as far as you let him. We found out Saturday. Yes, yes, they did.
Okay.
There, um,
Oh, and I hope Laz is doing okay. I heard that he got himself pretty badly hurt during his match, and
yeah,
you know, and I'll admit it. Deathmatch wrestling is not my thing. It really isn't. I'm not saying that there's not a place for it because I know that there are fans that absolutely love it. It's just not my thing, But I'm not going to sit there and say, sucks. No, it's just not for me. But the people that do that, man, I'm just like mind blown. That I'm like, I
uh,
used to wrestle, man, and I hated the idea of somebody beating the crap out of me, and then you got somebody that's able to beat the crap out of you with just about anything they can get their hands on.
oh, so
I just can't
yeah,
fathom it.
it was it was a bloody mess. The ring, the glass, the the swords, the machetes, the bats with explosives on them.
Rewind, rewind. Did you just say machetes?
Yeah, there's a picture. Laz, send me that. Oh, wait, hold on. They already sent me the picture. Hold on. I will grab this picture right now. They sent me this picture. Hold on. Not that one. Not that one. It's going to take me a minute. So, I mean, we can talk about other
All right.
things.
I'm gonna
But
tell you
yeah,
right now, if somebody has a machete during a match, if I was still wrestling and somebody had a machete during the match, I'm automatically laying on the mat doing this. I'm tapping out. And I'm like, no, no, thank you. Pin me, pay me. I'm good.
yep. Job squad, baby. Job squad.
Yeah.
I'm looking. I'm looking. There it is. I found the
All
image.
right.
This
Let
is
me
just
see.
this is one still shot. And I, I can't believe I'm showing this on air. We're gonna get well. This show's it's been a nice run, guys. This show's officially getting canceled tonight. Here you go.
Oh no.
That is Remington Roar putting the blade into the skull of Brad Cash.
Yeah,
100%.
I've been. I'm done. I'm done. No, no.
I had to. I had to. Um. So,
I'm gonna put you in a rear chin lock for 15 minutes. That's what we're doing, kid.
but yeah. That 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 sh- that shit this weekend was insane. And back on deathmatch by the 14th. He'll be back in a deathmatch by the 14th. Um. Look,
Man,
minor nick to the artery, 4 stitches, back in the ring by this Saturday, and doing a death match next Saturday. So, um,
man.
yeah. He said, "Don't tell people where I'm going to be online because they'll wonder why I'm not going to their show." Well, you won tickets to this show, so that's all that matters. Um, not enough money in the world for someone to use a machete on me, dude. I don't know. Promoting is a pain. Yes, it is. You will you will entirely be ignored. We're not going to talk about that. Let's see here.
We're
Let's
not going. Whoa.
see.
No, no, no. Let's talk about that. What is that? You will not be ignored.
Oh, he's
What's
going to be
wrong?
ignored because his question he keeps asking is what was it? Is why is eggs a breakfast food?
Why is eggs a breakfast food?
Yeah, I don't know.
Because they're delicious. It
Uh
just
bro,
is.
brother Silas is watching the show
What's
right
up, brother
on.
Silas?
Will Lizard Thicket food be at the event? I don't know what that
Uh,
is.
Lizard Thicket is a Columbia chain country style cooking restaurant that's solely in the Columbia Lexington area. It is delicious.
Good God. I love Lazarus. I absolutely love Lazarus.
You're stealing Chase Emery's shtick. I told Chase Emery already I'm gonna start changing his name to Chase Bank Emery.
Oh my God. Jesus Christ. Dude, if I can if I might just announce him like that Saturday. I might
Oh,
just announce him like that Saturday.
mm-hmm.
Oh dear Lord. That would be fun.
I just thought that was like his new gimmick. I didn't know anything else.
Yeah. The Drew train
I,
is
I,
going off the rail. Oh, he's predicting Landon gets the upset.
okay.
Wow.
Yeah,
Hey, say
I've been in the dark about a lot of things this week because I've been concerned about stuff that we got going on. But
Whiskey
whiskey business
retains.
retained. Okay.
Chris Thunder said he loves Zuka King.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Yeah, man, that is it. Oh, Chase was a genius for it. Oh, most definitely. He said, I got all the respect in the world for Cole. We've had many talk and all of them professional and respectful. Dude,
Thank you.
uh, out of everybody I've heard have a negative comment to say about Cole or Pro Wrestling Union, um, they aren't running anymore. Or come to find out they were a complete and total bag of shit anyway. So it really didn't matter.
Well, you can't please everybody, and
My
you
opinion.
can't.
I'm
You
allowed
know, you
I'm
can't
allowed to have my opinion.
you can't please everybody, and I'm not really here to do that per se. The only thing that I can do is just try to do right by everybody, even if I don't agree with you. And I'll use Jimmy Ward as an example. me and Jimmy don't always agree on everything when it comes to certain things, but at the end of the day, we still have enough respect for each other that um, it doesn't interfere with our personal relationship or anything like that. So just anybody out there that listens to that, take that for what it's worth.
Right. Has said you can't please everybody, only the smart ones. That's another one. Uh, Tommy said people don't like Cole. He's a good dude. I'm like, yeah, this is what happens when you're in wrestling and you're successful. You get hated easily. Um, not a joke. But Cole, man, we covered all the matches. Uh, one more time, give us that address and are we below 14 tickets yet?
I have to double check. I haven't had a whole lot of time since I checked earlier today. I did have a couple of notifications on my email, but I just didn't see what they are just yet.
Tommy, I'm just gonna revoke your tickets. No, I'm just playing. I wouldn't do that. That's awful.
No, because originally the tickets were supposed to be for general admission. I decided to upgrade them to floor seats. So
Yes, yes. He upgraded them to floors. So man, I don't
because
I get why people don't like me either. I get it too. I'm I'm real. That's why people don't like me. I'm real. You don't ask me anything unless you want the truth. Uh-oh. Cole, Misty Childers says she's late to the game. She wants you to do one thing.
really, she
Tommy
she
said thank you for the floor seats. And Laz said I gotta run. Much love and respect. Wish I could be there already booked, so support and love.
that's cool.
All right, Missy, what's the one thing? Because we're sending this show
I
home.
I already know. I already know. I already know. And I don't know if I got the energy for it or not because that's why I've been drinking coffee this late at night. But you know of Jumpin' Jeff Farmer, don't you?
Oh, jeez. Yeah. Yep. Yep.
Yep.
Yep.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep. Um, but it's so bad now that somebody else did a take on the Jumpin' Jeff Farmer thing. I think his name's Mitch Robinson, and it's one of the most hilarious things ever. And I now go more towards that, like yep, kick me in the back of the leg, and hit the back of my head, and torch the American flag. I didn't like that one bit. But I tell you one thing, Koski, don't spit on me. It's just a game. What are you? Well, I'll tell you this. Don't you do that to me ever again. Did he spit on you? Yep. But it's the greatest skit ever.
oh my god. Yeah,
But
I
uh,
you've sent it to me. I've watched it.
but but Jumpin' Jeff Farmer is still a folk hero to me and forever will be. They even Missy even sent me a T-shirt, a lovely T-shirt that has Jumpin' Jeff Farmer on it with him with the voice bubble that says, "Yep,
There you go. I remember seeing that shirt. I remember seeing
yep."
shirt. I think you sent it to me a picture. Ron likes you can't handle the truth. Yes, that's generally me. I like it when people can't handle the truth. Any advice you would give a future promoter? Yeah, I could use that.
Oh, geez. Um, if I had to try to be quick about this,
Yeah.
um,
Yep.
careful planning. Don't just rush into anything. Be very meticulous about what you want. Follow it to the T. Never put too much on your plate. Don't put more than what you can handle. I guess is the best way to put it. And always treat the people that agree to work with you, and I can't stress that, work with you fairly.
Right. 100%. Uh Bottom line, want to say thank you for running the great shows all these years. Um Tommy Scott said they're cutting it off before Manny Mac comes in and says this show sucks. Uh, both guys are turning tables on me in the wrong way. I turn tables on everybody every day, every way.
I don't like that, Mike Cruz. Next time I'm going full force.
And is Ron and Travis about to have pro wrestling is for everyone by the Wrestling Wire show? No, that's not what's happening. No, that's not what's going on. There's a lot of things going on, Tommy Scott. That is not one of them. And well, it kind of depends. I haven't decided if I'm going to run a wrestling show or I'm just going to leave the area and you'll never see my fat ass again. It's one of the two. It's well, sorry, Ron Whiteline.
Yeah, I was gonna say, dude, I'm like, you lost a lot of weight.
I did.
So,
yeah, that's why I got to go to the food store tomorrow.
I gained some of mine back, and that's mainly because of the high life I've been living for this last week. You know, when you got a Roost Chris right over there, it's kind of hard not to, you know, sink your teeth into a nice tender dry aged steak. You know,
yeah, 100%.
Very, very hard not to. Hey, Krispy Kreme's right down the road from me.
That doesn't help me at all. I hate Krispy Kreme, so I'm a Dunkin' Donuts guy.
Oh no.
Oh yes, I'm from the north, man. This is me. I'm from the north, DC area.
Now, if you would have said Tim Hortons, I would have understood that.
No. That's Canada. That's Canadian land. That's goofy land up there.
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, sorry. I heard that. Are you gonna tell me what it's all about next?
Hey.
All right, I'm done.
It's about dignity. It's about respect. It's about what are you laughing about?
Yes, I am entirely done. Guys, thank y'all for tuning in so much. We will see you this weekend at Pro Wrestling Union's Parade of Champions. You bite your tongue. That tastes like dirt. Dude, Starbucks is ass. I hate Starbucks. The only time I ever get Starbucks is if there's nothing left and I need some coffee. That's it. No.
I bet you Rod goes up there for the pinkety drinkety.
No, that's what my daughter gets is the pink drink.
Oh god.
But see, they got one at this coffee shop I go to. Brother, when you're in Spartanburg next time, I might have to take you. We'll have to go get 2 cigars and go have a nice coffee there. I always get a Cuban cup of coffee, which ain't big. It's super small, but it's real and it's good.
I was gonna say Cuban coffee is like I don't know. That'd be like the equivalent of drinking like 5 Red Bulls.
It's straight espresso, pressed through a sugar puck. It is amazing. Yes. But that I am all over that one. But they have a drink called the Pink Lady or something, and the kids like it, so I don't care. So, but at any rate, we'll see you guys this weekend at Pro Wrestling Union's Parade of Champions in Lexington, South Carolina. Other than that, you can find me right back here Thursday night, 8 p.m. for the Wrestling Wire. I've been your host, Ron Emerson. This has been my guest, Cole Mac. You guys have a great night.